Right, hello you two. Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Last time we did some docking. We did some contracts for docking crafts together around Kerbin. This time we're going to continue to try and push on and get the space hotel one to generate. I'm sure that we have got the right mod pack. I am 100% sure. So what I think it is, maybe we need to complete a 3-star. Maybe we need to complete a higher rarity one. I think it said that there was a bunch of these ones that will generate randomly, and then there were some one-offs. So we're going to take the 3-star multi-moon flyby. So we need to take 3 tourists and a pilot around both moons. Basically to go below 100,000 around the moon, 30,000 below Minimus. We kind of have a craft that can do this. It actually pays quite well. 400,000, and I think we can do this. We have a craft that could probably do a good chunk of this mission already, which was the... Oh, I can't think what it was called. It was one of the tourists. Tourist 3? I think. But we're going to beef it up and build Tourist 4. If I'm thinking of the right one. Yes. In fact, I think this one was overbuilt already. It might even be able to do it as is. We could try it. It would probably work. Tell you what, we'll give it a go. I think if we're careful with our maneuvers, we don't do anything too crazy, we should be able to do this. We'll bring Stelbert. Send it out for a mission for a little bit. Pack our 3 tourists. Pack them into the cargo hold. Let's go. Tourist 3. Right, second launch. We don't have to design new craft every time. A lot of missions you will be designing a completely new thing from scratch. But seeing as we're taking a lot of missions in the same area, we've kind of already got the hardware that can do it. And it makes some sense to me that the space program will reuse their stuff once they've already got something competent. So what we'll basically do, we'll do a home and transfer out to Minimus. Do our flyby, then we'll let it leave naturally, and as long as it's not going to leave the system, we'll then do another home and transfer to the moon, or maybe even just do a manual maneuver to dive down to it. Start at 100, because we've got solids, and I don't believe we want to go too low on that, or it'll miss the target. Engage autopilot, and 3, 2, 1, go. Taurus 3 on its second launch. Bunch of tourists in the hold. And one of our experienced first-gen space camp pilots in the driving seat. We could definitely launch another space camp later. They're good money, but and the crew is good. But at the moment, we are basically full on crew capacity. I believe we've got 1 spare slot. I believe all new recruits come in level 1, so we come in level 0. So we are better doing space camps than just recruiting crew. It also helps that it's cheaper. They're pretty much paying us to recruit them rather than the other way around. Considering we can build space camp quite cheaply with the design we have. We can land the whole thing in one go. We have an EVA report, but I think trying to take that at the moment would be a little bit risky. It does seem to be slightly on fire outside. Okay, yeah, we are going to need to adjust the height it aims for. As we have overshot, which is not surprising at all. Oh, right, this is the other one. We also need to activate the solar panels, so we're going to start... it should do it automatically, but yes, we need to activate the cooling is active. Okay, good. Yeah, because our fuel tanks will boil off if we don't keep them cool. They don't use that much. 0.8 electric charge a second is actually not very much, so we could definitely use cryogenic engines more in future missions. But again, the only slight problem with them tends to be they gain more efficiency from large volume tanks. So if anything, they're sometimes better off launched empty and then flying refueling flights out to them sometimes. So cheap refueling flights, maybe with a reusable craft, so you can just pretty much transfer the fuel cost up there. It would be kind of cool to build that. It would be kind of cool to build a shuttle or something perhaps later in our playthrough. For refueling stuff like the colony ship, maybe in its construction. It would be a lot easier to launch if we launched it empty and then had a refueling vessel that could reliably land, take off again. Some kind of SSTO or again shuttle or something. So we'll maybe look into that. That could be cool for later. But we're not quite there yet. As I always try to make sure I say at least at some point in these episodes, our goal is to put a big colony ship out to Eeloo and land a colony on it. And again, maybe one on Moho. We might even add some planet mods later. I haven't decided on that yet. Yeah, but at the moment, we're simply waiting for it to... I'll be waiting for it to do... Oh, auto warp's turned off. Why is it turned off? We do want you to auto warp. We want you to take us to where we want to be. We're not here to. It's not Kerbal waiting program. There is some waiting, but it's not meant to be. Yeah, we have a little bit of extra fuel because we have our second. We have our sort of what do you call it? Crew capsule. I can't think what you call them. There is a service module. I can't remember what you call it. There's a proper name for this sort of like capsule with a little engine on the back of it, then solar panels just for pootling around on general orbital missions. But I can't for the life of me think what it's called. I want to say service module. I think it is service module, but I'm not sure. These are not deployed still. I know you've got some solar panels exposed, but get these out there. You better be keeping the fuel cold. Spicy fuel does not work for this rocket. Needs the ice cream. It's very fitting, given we're going to Minmus as part of this mission. But yes, I think I said in the previous mission, actually a lot of fuel tanks are sort of like this on the inside. They have a round tank inside of them because it's a much stronger shape. There's no corners to sort of buckle. But they're sort of hidden in an aerodynamic shell with these, for whatever reason, they're exposed. I guess looks and also lightness as well. It's a very light frame and it's still quite solid. They've got these sort of metal bands to keep it nice and rigid. But yes, I think a lot of rocket stuff is surprisingly fragile in some ways. It's just built to be very strong in the directions it's needed to be strong in. There's another video finishing rendering in the background. I believe that's one of the last Astrox videos finishing being rendered. I do intend to come back to Astrox at some point in the future. But it is on hold for now. Again, I believe they are adding some story content soon. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We'll get the story. The story will start to be in the game soon, so that'll be good. We can start exploring that. Apparently, depending on which faction you go with, will affect how the story is told, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if it means we'll be doing different stuff, but right, create node to transfer out to the moon. Okay, wait, no, we were going to do Minmus first, weren't we? Target removal nodes. Yeah, the moment we're going to leave the Kerbal system on a flyby, we're going to change angle as we get there, so that's probably going to change, but we may have to indeed use a little extra fuel to slow down and not drop out the system by accident, basically. We need to do 2 flybys, and then we need to return to Kerbin. For this mission. Should be perfectly doable. I know there's been a lot of amber about in the Kerbin system, but we're getting towards the point of moving on, but I'm happy to stick nearby for the moment, because we seem to be doing okay. Making a good bit of money. Which again, we're going to need later. Engine is a-burning. Wonderful blue glow. Don't worry about the light, nothing weird going on there. I laughed when we zoomed in and that mysterious man in the spotlight from Astrox was just standing inside there. I still have absolutely no idea what that was. I don't know if it's meant to be like us standing there but so bright we can't see what we look like. Or if the station really is haunted or what, but such a weird little moment. That's interesting as well. The fuel burns a different colour beyond a certain point. I guess maybe that's meant to be like the fuel separating out a little bit at that burn rate. Most real engines can't actually throttle down the way the Kerbal ones do either. I should mention, like most Mountain real rockets don't go below about 10% thrust, I think, if even that. They just have to cut it off really precisely and then sometimes use RCS to fine-tune. It's gonna, in real life, you need RCS a lot more. Reaction wheels don't really work quite so well in real life. Right, change periaps. We need to go below 30, so we'll go to 20. Should be fairly safe. We shouldn't smash into anything. That's 60 seconds. Create and execute. Now, where are we going to come out after that? We are probably going to leave the Kerbin system by the look of it. So yes, what we might have to do once we leave is burn retrograde for a little bit just to make sure we don't, and then maneuver out to the Mun. Might even be a little bit of manual maneuvering, but we'll see what it looks like for home and transfer out there. If it burns another 1,000 or so, we should still be okay to do the flyby and come back. If it's going to be significantly more than that, we're starting to get a bit tight on fuel. Alright, perhaps. No longer 0. There's also some science, which we could do while we're out here. What do we have? EVA report. Might even get a... Do we get a world first? No, okay. Oh, think we're... But we got it anyway. Okay, so... Let's fly by of Minimus. Meow. Oh, tell you what. Let's turn the capture around so they can actually see it. Because why not? Might as well be nice to them. Okay. Now we go past. Enjoy your view, fellas. Right, now where have we come out? Oh, excellent. No, we're not gonna leave Kerbin. Okay. So transfer the target. Now we might get a warning saying we're elliptical and it's gonna use a lot of fuel. No, it's actually not going to use very much at all. That's interesting. Yeah. Not to it, I guess. Maybe because we're a long way up, it can just use the momentum. I don't know. But anyway. Seems to think it's going to be easy, so we won't complain. Don't believe anything's boiling off. No, we're okay. Yeah, if it says insulated, that means you're okay. It's cooling enough that it's staying liquid. I don't know on the real ones whether they actually could manage that or whether they still lose a little bit anyway, but it doesn't seem like something would be difficult given you're in space, but I guess maybe it's colder than space? Don't know. I'd have thought given how cold space is supposed to be, it'd be reasonably easy to keep it cool, but again, I guess perhaps not. Alright, ready to burn. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, engine burn. Yeah, no, maneuvers working as intended. It's that easy, I guess. Sweet. Thanks, mate, Jeff. Pulled it off pretty much perfectly. Ah. Except that we've got this bug again, have we? Okay. Right. This is a weird little bug that comes up sometimes. Where it thinks it's okay, it's going to encounter, and then the moment it actually, you time warp, it suddenly thinks it isn't. There's an easy fix. What we do, we create a maneuver node that's near the transition. We smart warp to a little, or warp helper to a little ahead of it. And then we can just manually pulse the time warp until we actually encounter it. And then now it seems to think we're okay, so I don't know what's going on. When we get near, we can just manually delete the actual maneuver. Abort. Get rid of. Quick save. And we're about here on the line. We should transition over. Yeah, and it still transitions over. We do still encounter. It's just weird about it. Right. We'll go for 30. We'll just go a little higher in the man. It's a little rockier and a little bit taller. So we're still okay. We still had a full fuel tank. We probably could have done this whole mission on this section and just cut this out and would have gained a bit of Delta V. Yet again, the RCS propelled stage is a little bit redundant. Although for actually slowing down, we may need a bit more, so who knows, but... Ah dear, Taurus 3 will be perpetually overbuilt, but at least it does its job. I suppose I can't complain too much about it being overbuilt if it at least works each time. And they want us to go below 100,000 meters on the moon. Which we're going to do. Oh, I think the only thing is we're going behind it. So I don't know how good a view they got of that, but... There was also a science report very briefly. I guess that was a low altitude EVA report, but I guess we missed it. Not to split hairs about that one too much. Oh, there is, however, a new one. We're actually set to come around for another, Let's see if we can grab it. If we do take data, do an EVA report. That's interesting. So that seems to suggest we can take data with any Kerbal, because we don't have a scientist on board. We only have tourists and a pilot. So I guess we just need the scientist to refurb the equipment. So we're going to get another encounter of the moon. You know what? Tourists paid to be up here. We're literally going to get an encounter with no extra effort. Hey guys, you get a second go around. This time on the light side. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Right. And we shall wait until we get to Apple Apps. Oh my god, another one. We're doing well. This one we would crash into it, so we are going to intervene here. No, we're not going to get another one. Okay. A little weird, I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway. Bad at all. Wait for that to drop to about 30. Cool. Right, don't need that, don't need that. No, actually we do need that because we need one of the things for that. Warp helper. Atmospheric entry, 15 seconds. Go. I think we're going to have a daytime landing by the look of that. Or at least very nearly daytime. I will maybe even gun it. Yeah, I'm going to gun it with the reverse thrusters as soon as we can to try and ensure we get a daytime landing. Again, I prefer if you guys can actually see what's going on when we come down. I think we definitely are going to at this point, but... yeah, unlike the fancy Nereid, this is a very conventional pod by comparison. This is literally a point back burn and then let the pod drop into the atmosphere on its own pretty much and just land on the parachutes. In fact, these are the chutes we can deploy at lower altitude because it drifts down for ages if you don't. 500. 500. 500. Possible famous last words there, but I believe that was the case. I believe we basically burn retrograde until with the monopropellant until the solar panels are burning off, and then we deploy the pod. Do have some RCS on board. I guess we'll try and burn that off for extra weight saving, but we're already burning it through the engine, so... not really sure that an engine could withstand that kind of heat, but without melting, but maybe it can. Or at least stopping running anyway. Yeah, there goes those. Yeah, we always get a little bit of extra fuel because you've got the monopropellant in the cab. Spin to try and take us away. What can sometimes happen, if the drag works out badly for you, is that you decouple from something during re-entry and then it comes back and smacks you, breaks something. Which can be a problem sometimes, so we try to avoid that. I think we're going to get a water landing at this rate. It'll either be the beach or the water, but I think we're going to overshoot the beach. Yeah, I'd say it looks pretty likely we're going to overshoot. Well, at least the rescue crew are going to know where to come from, so... EVA report. Not sure that's a good idea. I don't think I'm going to get a Kerbal out here because we're still moving at 500 meters a second. Which is fast, to say the least. Gently descending now. Probably time warp at this point. But we can activate the chutes. Right, yeah, we wanted the angle out, didn't we? Yeah, that does affect the angle. Okay, cool. Visually, we can use that to push them out a bit. And actually, maybe it affects the physics as well. I don't know. But anyway, keep it a little further out from the center chute. Anyway, yeah, that was one of the things we thought we could do with this. We could take the center chute out and replace it with a the nose cone to save weight and make the parachutes not look like they're overlapping. But it's fine. Right. By the way, we're still coming down. And any moment they should open up. $500 cuts it close, but it minimises the time we spend just drifting in time warp. We don't have to worry about it. That is a nice shot. Oh, look at that. Lovely gentle touchdown. And we're somewhere new, apparently. Crew report. Kerbal Shores. Are we moving across the surface? Oh, I guess we're bobbing up and down a bit. DBA report. Oh, we can take a surface sample from up there. I'm not going to get it out in case we can't get it back onto the pod. We can still recover her. We just have to go to the Space Center and it, or the tracking station, and it saves us a loading screen if we skip that. Alright, let's see if that's got us any closer to that contract. Otherwise, we'll take one of the others. I guess we're going to keep plugging away at this until we get that. Until we get that one. That's the one we're aiming for. If we don't, I guess we push out further to somewhere like Duna, perhaps. That's level 1. Yep, but you're tourists, so it doesn't matter. Contract complete. Got a bunch of money. Could probably do one of the other upgrades. Object tracking would be available. We could unlimit the size of our craft, just that we can build. Any contracts as we want. Upgrade the space plane hangar so we can actually do stuff with it. We have a few different options. Let's see what's available though. Investor tour, there it is! Finally! Right, we probably have time to do this as well. So, here we have to decide whether we do the hotel or the casino, and I think we start with the hotel, because it is easier. Yeah, the casino is significantly more difficult to build, but there's a higher payoff, but it is difficult. You really do have to dock 5 asteroids together in one craft, and that's a lot. Spare over at the space train hangar. So, we'll take that. We need to... Rosaloy Kerman is the one we need to give a bit of a lift. This man. So, we need to build a little rover to do a little bit of a tour. We have Waypoint Manager installed, so I believe it will point us to where we actually need to go during that mission. Right. First of all, we do not have any exterior seats, so we're going to have to build this out of components. Probably a couple of... No, not you. A couple of lander cans. It's going to be basic, to say the least. But I believe we do have enough rover parts to make this work. Oh yes, for those who haven't seen it, this is the space plane hangar. You're supposed to build aircraft here, but today we will not. Basically. Wheels. We want those ones? Yes, but are they going to be long enough? Just about. Oh boy, our ground clearance is not good. But we literally don't have anything bigger, so we'll have to do. What I might even do is turn it into an 8-wheeler. We don't have a very high power count, but it should be enough for this at least. Now we do have to get him on board the craft. So I will see if we have something like an airlock. Otherwise we're going to have to build him a ladder, and climbing over a 45-degree angle, a 90-degree angle in Kerbin is unreliable, is probably the best way to put it. Let's see. We just type it. Oh, we do. I think we actually... It's the wrong way around, but... Yeah, cool. That should do it. So you should be able to get in there. Should be able to climb up onto it. Do we want to put anything on the front? Okay, that's a bit big. Yeah, there we go. Fast. Power. We need power generation. Knew we were forgetting something. Since we have a little thing on the back, we might as well just put some solar panels on the top. There we go. Jank bug 1. Right. I believe this should work to some degree. And that's enough. So. We need to make sure we only have one pilot. We'll have Jeb. We'll have our original pilot on board. Jeb, don't blow this. It's a big one for us. We've been working towards this. Don't screw it up. There's a lot riding on this contract. In the next episode, for that matter, because we'll probably be starting... Might be starting work on it. It depends on how long it takes to build, and also some stuff like how much of it we think we could put up at once. It might be that we get the contract available, but we don't take it just yet. I believe we can redo the tour. I don't know whether we can do more than one trip, but let's watch sunrise quickly, because this thing is built to run in the sunlight. Oh, tilts forwards. It probably will scrape its belly along the ground a little bit. In fact, I think you can even see it clunking into the floor. Handles well, but that also means that it might roll over quite easily. Right, we need to find Rosloy. Rosloy. My main man. Bear with me, we'll be there any moment. Yeah, so Kerbal's ground driving is a little jank. It always has been and probably always will be to some degree. It has improved significantly. The Rovers are less likely to roll now, but probably if we push this thing hard, we could probably roll it over. Now, imagine that, but you're running in low gravity, and it's so much easier to roll over. We'll take a crew report while we're here. Crew report, I'm driving the car. Space car. Has this got a deployment on it? No. Yes. I don't know, maybe it's not scraping the ground. No, it's just got ground clearance. This probably wouldn't be very good to actually send out to an alien planet, but we'd probably, before we seriously consider any rovers, we'll try and get some actual rover bodies. The problem is they're not tremendously useful for the most part, because there's not that much you could do with them that you couldn't do better by just landing a crew. They're a bit awkward to land and a bit to pilot, and in the grand scheme of exploration in space, they're slow, which are all problems. High quality facilities here. I genuinely have never noticed that. I guess because it's the lower tier buildings. B looks quite nice though, by comparison. Interesting. Yeah, I'm so used to seeing the high tier buildings because I normally would only be flying around the space center on gradient mode. See what happens when we brake. It's actually got very smooth braking. That's quite rare for one of these. Alright, Rosloy. No, not Lemoy. I think they're also not supposed to see each other, I think it said. That might just be more of a joke than anything. Can he actually take a surface sample? He can. Rosloy, pick up some dirt while you're out there, would you? Oh. I think we can also... Oh, no. Look at that. It's so eager to see us. It's coming to us. You can take our helmet off at least. Hey. Okay, cool. So the airlock works at least. Why is this? Why are we... Why are we drifting sideways? What's happened here? Actually doesn't get nauseous. Right, okay. What are we supposed to visit? Spaceplane hangar is there. Yeah, this is why you have the why you want the waypoint manager, because it actually shows you where you got to go. Which was not obvious. If you don't have that mod, you can work it out eventually, but it can be a bit like, I'm driving around the place and I can't find it. Yeah, so basically have to show off the space center to them. Hopefully make a good impression of ourselves. I mean, I'd say we've done fairly well. We've rescued a few Kerbals, provided job opportunities, some new Kerbal pilots. Launched some successful missions, launched a few unsuccessful ones early on, but we got it worked out pretty quickly. Alright, Space Hangar's done. Which is the admin building? Over there. It is interesting that we're drifting a bit. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but set the brakes and you're up to full power. Yeah, full power on the rear brake. That should hopefully slow us down a bit. I think technically you're also supposed to do high power front brakes, so we'll put those up to 100. Yeah, rear brakes is good for sort of dragging, but usually I believe with braking you want more of it on the front where the weight naturally shifts to when you slow down. Yeah, it's a little bit jerkier, but that's fine. Let's just stop quickly. I think this pavement is ice. Very slippery. That's the admin building. Yeah, you don't need a lot to manage that. You don't need a lot to manage all this. You just need a little thing. Oh, there's the flag. You can actually change your space program's flag if you want. You can, if you click on the flagpole. It's not very obvious, but it is a thing you can do. That's also quite cute. They've got the yes, they've got the early flag. Kerbal Space Program. No, it did that. Right, astronaut complex is there, I believe. Yeah. Nice and close. bumping our way across the Space Center. It's designed to explore, not to be comfortable. By which I mean this is entirely designed for a tour. Possibly could land one of these on another planet, I suppose. It seems to be working reliably at least. The power's staying up. It is nice and stable, actually, being that close to the ground. I suppose on reasonable gravity worlds, this might be a viable rover, I guess. R&D. Vehicle assembly building is over there. I like little ground trucks. There was actually a mod that added the parts for those, so you could build the little ground vehicles you can see wandering around inside the VAB and Space Center. And then we just need to go to the tracking station, which is there. I've never taken a proper look at the Tier 2 tracking station. I might actually get a bit of a look at it while we're there. Gently cruise around the corners. Not the fastest vehicle, but again, it's not supposed to be. We could build a race car. Indeed, there was a little bit of a Kerbal Racing League I remember entering way back on the forums. It's fun. Right. I'm nearly there. Right, and we have finished it, and we have got the hotel. So, we'll just take a quick look at the this building, because I haven't seen the tracking station. What's that covered in? I didn't realise that's what that was. I thought that was like yellow plating or something. It's all covered in scaffolds. It's not actually finished yet. I guess the idea is it's like a work in progress building and they're just working out of an unfinished one. That's fascinating. I never seen that. I didn't realise it was supposed to be unfinished before. I knew it had a yellow colour, but I didn't realise that's what it was. That's interesting. Okay. I'll have to finish that at some point. Right. However, that is tour complete. Back to a halt. And we'll cover the vessel. Slightly sliding across the surface as it is. So, with that complete, we should have access to the hotel. I will see what the timing is on it, if there's a contract time. If there is, we may end up pushing to go out a bit further, or we may even just start construction straight away and use it to fund the rest of our space program. We could also do some science, so we'll have a quick look in there first. Although we need 160 really for the next bit, so perhaps we can't. Okay. We can nearly do some science. Right. Mission control. Oh, that's also... Yeah, confirm yet. Contract complete. Check mission control for the construction contract. There it is. Build a space hotel. Expires in 80 days. I think that is the contract itself expires in 80 days. So what do they want? Oh, that's smaller than I thought. I thought it was bigger than that. Okay. So we will need at least 4 antenna, 2 docking nodes at least, a 50-man crew capacity, which is big, but it's not as big as I thought. 20,000 electric charge, that is actually quite high. Orbit around Kerbin above 350,000 meters. It actually does want to be quite high up, so we'll need higher altitude launchers. But that is doable. That is definitely a doable contract. It doesn't pay tremendously, but I believe there are additional contracts to run people back and forth from it. So, we are going to take that. Active. Does it have an expires time on it? No, it does not. It doesn't expire either. They'll let us take as long as we like on it. Cool. So, in the next episode, we shall build its core. Hopefully you've all enjoyed this one, though. Again, as I try to remember to say at the end of these, I am a games developer, as well as somebody who plays them and whatnot. So, if you want to support the channel, as well as all the normal like and subscribe stuff, I do appreciate that as well. Go check out the description. There's links to the 2 games in there. And I'll see you guys all next time. Goodbye.